Bat Force Radio.
Bat Force Radio is rated M for mature, or should that be immature?
This is Sean Murphy, and you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and you're listening to Bat Force Radio, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to Bat Force Radio. We've got a full house tonight for an episode we've been waiting a long time for, so we're going to get right to it. We've got Legends of Lego Batman in Cali. All
right.
Dunk in New York.
What up?
We've got Bat Force Tom, who just disappeared in Cali.
Hashtag make the backflip movie. Hashtag boycott the Batman.
Ooh, fighting words. We got Gramps in Texas.
Get your hands off my penis.
No. And I'm Robin Cross in Canada. All right. If you've been listening or following us on social long enough, talking about the White Knight universe since 2017 when the first series was announced. So it will come as no surprise that we don't shut up about the upcoming chapter, Batman Beyond the White Knight, which begins on March 29th, and returning to the show to answer for everything he's done, the all-maker of the White Knight universe, Sean Murphy.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Last time I was here, I remember asking you guys, what is the Snyderverse? Why is everyone complaining about it? And you told me you had to fill me in on everything. And this was way before the movie was announced, way before it came out, of course. And now that it's out, I'm glad that Zack Snyder's proven himself and we can all go back to loving him.
That's funny. I wanted to get this, so we might as well get this out of the way because we're going to have to get to it. So, as someone who was known, at least around here, for not loving the Snyder stuff, what were your thoughts on the Batman?
I had a really unusual experience with this movie. This is going to get a bit... give me a few minutes here. I was really worried about it because I was scared that they were going to use my stuff.
Really?
And no one had told me about it. And I understand that when you do Batman, they own everything you do. They don't have to pay you. They don't have to credit you. I get it. But to not even be told about it, I was starting to kind of freak out. I had a couple of friends of mine had seen it, and they were like, yeah, there's some stuff in here from White Knight for sure. So I've already had concerns about my stuff being turned into toys, merchandise, all kinds of stuff without people telling me. And like, yeah, is it cool to have, action figures made of your art? Absolutely. But, if you can only walk into Target so many times and see a new Batmobile based on your shit and have no idea that they were doing it, like that stuff is like kind of not fun after a while. So I was concerned that they use a lot of my stuff in the new Batman movie. However, I thought it looked great and I was excited to see it, but I was getting ready and I actually wrote my editor and I said, if I go and see this and there's a lot of my stuff in here, I'm going to have a hard time doing volume 4. I might just retire from DC Comics for a while. So I was kind of preemptively getting worked up, which was, maybe insecure of me. And I thought that she would just keep that between us. And she decides to tell, the editor-in-chief. And the editor-in-chief writes to me immediately. And she's like, oh, I haven't seen it yet, but we don't want to lose you and blah, 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 blah. So I went to see it and I was happy to I don't think they really used really anything of my stuff, honestly. So, and I'm really happy about that. When the movie started, I started getting really concerned because I'm like, if this movie starts using my stuff, I don't know what this is going to mean. I don't know if I'm going to have to walk away from DC or, whatever. And I started having anxiety in the movie. So I'm pacing up and down the aisle between the seats like a maniac. And I'm in shit. And people are like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm just like, so I'm grabbing the wall on the side. I'm sitting on the back. And I had to watch the first 30 minutes standing up just to burn off that nervous energy. And then I realized, oh, this isn't really, Lee Bermejo should be pissed off, not me. So I started to feel better. And I sat down and I enjoyed it. Honestly, I thought it was great. it's funny. I'm friends with Lee, and way back years ago, we were in France, and he goes, I'd love to do a Batman movie one day, and I think it should be like The Crow meets Seven. And that's
God.
basically what this movie was. So I wrote him after. I'm like, man, you must be thrilled, because like not only did like they pay him and he actually worked on it and all that, but I think it's just amazing. I think I give it a B. Honestly, I love the car porn and so much of the first and second act, but for me, there's like 3 different endings, and none of them are really that satisfying. And suddenly there's a seawall in Gotham, which I didn't understand. I'll have to watch it again. Maybe that shit was laid out and I just missed it. But
You were too scared that they were going to use your shit to really
Yeah.
back.
Well, Lee did say to me, he goes, they've got White Knight, so they might tap you to work on the second movie, and maybe they'll do a lot of stuff with your book then. That was his bet. And I said, honestly, like I don't care. I'm really not into this to try to have a big name in movies or anything like that. I just worry that I don't love the idea of working for a giant billion-dollar corporation who will use my stuff without telling me, And I'm really not complaining. I guess I kind of am, but I hopefully I sound like I'm being pretty fair about it, But I enjoyed it, but I was really worried about it as it got there. I mean, other than the bat collar and maybe like the Bruce Wayne fund for whatever. Generally there wasn't really much of my book in there at all. Mostly it was like Lee Bermejo, The Long Halloween, maybe some Scott Snyder stuff. I don't know. What did you guys think?
Yeah, there was nothing in there that made me think, oh yeah, they definitely ripped Sean for this. And I have a different perspective as someone who doesn't have the same attachment to it that you obviously do. From my perspective, if I saw something that was White Knight, I would have said, "Oh, awesome, that's White Knight."
Yeah.
But there was never anything that made me think, aside from like what you mentioned, definitely having a collar on his suit. That definitely has an origin.
Yeah, but Mignola did it before that. Andy Kubert did it. Like, and even like the idea of Bruce Wayne starting a fund, the Waynes having a charity, like that's been done a million times. Like, there's really nothing in there that's mine, and I'm happy for it, honestly. Like, I don't feel skipped over or anything like that. It just makes my life easier if I'm not involved with it, because then I can just keep doing my books and not worry about it.
It is a weird thing to have like something so intimately yours, like not really be yours and have to worry about it like that. It is really, really weird. But something that happened recently that is yours, you had Plot Holes come out as your was it Indiegogo, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I'm holding it. My camera's not working. I don't know what happened, but I'm holding the artist edition that you sent out. Got to say, man, this has been one of my favorite Kickstarters that I've ever physically held in my hand. A lot of people do them, but you made it really, really nice with the oversized hardcover and then the artist edition afterwards.
Yeah, thank you. It's funny.
There you go,
I really
Legends.
appreciate that.
Hold on.
It was kind of a different sort of book for me. It was a risk. I wasn't sure if like the idea would land with people. You kind of have like, it's hard to have an elevator pitch for Plot Holes, I'm really glad. I think we were like a top 10 Kickstarter or Indiegogo or whatever it was at the time. Obviously, Keanu Reeves beat us all that year. But yeah, that's right. I forgot you do like impressions of everybody.
That wasn't me. That was a good one from somebody else.
Oh, okay.
It's because Keanu's Canadian, so I can pull.
There you go.
One.
That was a good one, Robin.
Now that Sean Connery is dead, Keanu might be the easiest impression to do.
Maybe.
Sean,
but just don't ask Keanu to do impressions or accents. Have you ever seen that hockey movie he was in? He played a French Canadian guy.
Oh God!
And there's a clip from it that's on YouTube where for being a Canadian guy, his French accent is so bad. Like they're talking about a player that's on another team, and when it comes to his turn to give his opinion on this other player, he says, "That man, he is fucking an animal," and it's so bad. It's awful.
Yeah, that's part of what makes him Keanu.
Yeah.
Yeah. He what you got? An original piece of art there?
Oh, hang on.
Yep. Oh, cool. Yeah. You did you do the buy the art backing section?
That was get in the.
I drew you. Yeah, I drew your ass. That's right. And I forgot, so I had to make you a pasty. I pasted you up on the first page there.
Oh, nice.
Gotta unmute.
You're on.
your mic,
You're on.
bud.
You're on
buddy.
mute, Legends. You've been
I
on
hear
mute
you
the whole
loud and
time.
clear, brother.
There you go.
I gotta admit, I was a little disappointed with the pasty when I got the page.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Felt like an afterthought.
I don't know.
Here we go.
I just felt like it fall off over time or something. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's
Roast
just thick, man.
roast Murphy hour.
I only use the best Elmer's glue.
Oh wait,
You're
you
happy
literally
with your-
it was actually you got the. Okay, yeah, because it's the art. I forgot.
Yeah, I thought I got through all of my backers, and I forgot one, and I'm like, shit, I need to have a page where there's like a character where I can put it right near the camera and show his face. So I went back to that page and made him a pasty. And I thought, well, I'll draw him beyond the panel so he's like bigger and he'll have more art that no one's ever seen. And I guess obviously that didn't work very well.
You're talking to the artist, the original art snob of the group, so that's probably why.
Yeah, no, man, I'm happy to give you a refund if you're upset about that. It's not a problem.
I refuse to take a refund from you.
Because I can't sell that because your ugly face is on it.
There we go, and we're right back to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the production quality of not only the artist edition and everything, but just all that the raised print and the spot gloss and everything on the cover, that is like a top-notch produced book.
Well, thanks. Thank you. And it arrived undamaged?
Oh yeah.
I hope. Good.
Oh yeah.
And I got it crazy fast. Like
Yeah.
I figured I would have been one of the last people, waiting for it to get to Canada, but I had it before a lot of Americans.
Mine was
Yeah,
in
you
the
know,
first batch as well, I think. Yeah.
There was some blowback on some YouTube channels about damaged, units, and it was annoying because like I used a lot of the same shippers and packers that a lot of Comicscape people use. I mean, there's only a handful of places to go in this country for that stuff,
Yeah.
We had like 1% damages. It was low, but
Yeah.
we purposefully kept shipping cheap because it was COVID and I didn't know how much money people had, and we were trying to give people a bargain, and yeah, like I know we were like 8 months late, but I did spend another month doing like an extra issue, so people did get more than what they paid for. But when I started getting heat on YouTube for damaged goods, I was like, "What are you talking about? Like 1% damages is normal. What is going on?"
Why do you need to go to YouTube about something being damaged in the mail? That's crazy.
Because your family doesn't listen to you, Robin.
Yeah.
Your wife won't hear you out. Your boss won't hear you out. It's the only outlet. Come on, man.
No, it's funny. Like it's just the culture war shit. They just want something to dunk on, and I gave them a reason to dunk on me for a week, and that's that.
You were riding too high, Sean.
I guess so.
Your name was too big for too long. They needed something.
I know. They almost got me with Love Bomb, and they didn't.
Man, that's why. Like you're untouchable, man. What else is there? Damaged books, please. That's nothing. Hey, so how does it feel now that you're on the other side of it? Like that was a huge project and it got pushed back because of COVID. So obviously, I'm sure you were frustrated. But like now that it's out, I think everyone's fulfilled. What you got to deal with now is people like begging you for a copy of it that didn't pre-order, right?
Yeah, that's funny. So our next step is to print out extra copies. So we'll have it available on the site pretty soon. I'll bring it to shows and all that. And at some point, I'll probably break it up and print it out through Image and put it out the traditional way.
Oh, that's nice.
That would be cool.
Yeah, like my thought was, let's just do what I normally do, but do it backwards. So instead of going to Image and then making it a trade and then eventually doing like the deluxe edition, let's just kickstart the deluxe, then sell it to Europe, then go to Image. So you're basically doing the same thing, but completely backwards because you sort of make more money that way. And people who back it get a special item that no one's ever going to get ever. Like even when it's collected by Image, I'm never going to let them make it deluxe or as nice as the ones that you're holding, So that way everybody's happy.
And then we have that artist edition and the prints as well that it came with.
Yeah.
All kinds of cool stuff.
Has anyone done that? I don't think has anyone done like an oversized and an artist edition with the same book? Not that I know
I
of.
assumed they did. We did it with Tokyo Ghost through Image. And
I mean,
it did
there's like an
well.
Indiegogo.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question.
That's
not
why
sure.
it's so cool. Is because like it seems like that's you're definitely one of the first, if not the only one.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I did not know that. Thanks for telling me. Yeah, we plan on doing that forever because those deluxe editions are actually not that expensive to make. They're expensive to ship, and they always get a little dinged up because they're just so big and awkward. But I think customers know that. But like the art snobs out there are happy to pay like $50 for those things. So I definitely plan on including that in the future. It's funny. My next book after Batman Beyond is going to be Zorro.
Yeah.
I got the rights to Zorro. I'm going to be doing like a Zorro meets Narcos. So it's kind of a modern tale of a guy who thinks he's Zorro, like Don Quixote. He's kind of out of his mind, but he's also really fucking good at it. And his sister's like a driver for the cartel, and she takes pity on him. And the two of them have to like fight the cartel. And he's driving around in like an El Camino with like, tornado written on the bumper and all that. So I got the rights from Zorro, and that's going to be my next Kickstarter after this. And I plan on doing just 4 chapters instead of 5 and collecting all 4 as artist editions as well.
Oh, cool.
So I haven't really talked about it. This is the first time I mentioned it, but this isn't like, I'll announce it bigger once I come to the end of Batman, of course. But after that, I plan on doing some Zorro. And I know no one cares about Zorro except for me, but I think there's a way to redo it where I can sort of spark interest again,
I absolutely love Zorro. And
Yeah,
I love this
I think
idea.
all Batman fans love Zorro.
Like,
What is the process like? Is that a difficult task to get the rights?
It depends on who owns them. So I have my lawyer contact ZPI, Zorro Productions, Inc., and they're out of LA, and someone does own Zorro, and they publish Zorro sometimes through American Mythology and Dynamite. Dynamite hasn't had the rights for 10 years, but I believe they're going to reacquire them. So I wrote to them and I said, I'll have my lawyer say, hey, my client is a big Batman artist. He loves Zorro. What would it take to get the rights? And what I basically said to them was like, I showed them plot holes and I go, this is what I got for a book that no one's ever heard of. If I do it again with my name and with Zorro, I think I could get like 300,000 instead of 250. And then I can just send you guys a check for X amount. And you'll be making way more with me than you will be with Dynamite or American Mythology.
Wow.
And if you guys ever turn my personal Zorro idea into a movie, you can give me a percentage of that. So it took about 6 months to negotiate, but they eventually agreed to it. And like, I can make it as violent as I want. They're not like Disney where they're not micromanaging, which is nice. Because it could have gone either way. Nice. Like, honestly, the whole time we were negotiating, I expected it to fall through at any time because it was kind of a joke. I'm like, yeah, sure, they're going to give me Zorro. But they ended up going for it. So, yeah, we'll see how that does. After that, I think I might start a publishing company when I quit Batman and maybe look into getting the rights to, like, Highlander and, like, a lot of shit that I think is cool and sort of turn it into a publisher that it's sort of like Mondo. Grabbing titles that no one cares about, but releasing them in a new way that sparks interest. And I think there's a market for that outside of Wednesday Warriors. I think there's a way to do that with some of these titles, like Knight Rider. I think I could do something with that. Or
oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, but I kind of want to scratch my itch and do some of that stuff. Like, I think people might see it as a little bit silly, but I'm really interested in doing a really good Highlander book. And I know that's a weird thing for me to say, but I'm pretty sure there's a way to do it.
Are there any properties from European comics that you'd also maybe be interested in?
Oh, definitely. I got to do Judge Dredd at some point.
Judge Dredd.
Nice.
I don't know if this is on your radar or not, but there's a character called Diabolic. He's Italian.
I don't know that one. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about it later. But
yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll check it out.
He's a really cool character.
Yeah. Yeah, that I want to do. I wrote to Mignola and talked about some Hellboy with him, so I might do like an issue or 2 issues of Hellboy or something next. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I'd like to sort of branch outside of just Batman, but always return to Batman for a new installment if it's possible, And
always return to Bat Force Radio.
And that, yeah.
Who owns RoboCop? Is that?
Good question. I think there's a European publisher putting it out. No, that was IDW or
Image was putting them out.
Somebody was putting them out. I just can't remember who. It might have been. Yeah,
it's being passed around. Yeah,
you got to do some more RoboCop. Ever since that piece that you did, that thing's amazing. Man.
My friend Clay, who I do a podcast with, loves fucking loves RoboCop. So I'm sure
I love
if I
Clay.
told him that, he'd be
Yeah.
all about that.
Yeah,
He's actually going to be.
Clay's going to be on here in a little bit too.
Oh, good. Yeah. He's going to be doing he's writing
Red
the Red Hood
Hood.
White Knight spinoff, which I guess we can talk about. But a couple years ago, so when I put out the first volume of White Knight, we took a break and did a one shot of Von Fries, and that did pretty well. So this time we're going to put out a 2-issue break in between my run. So I'll have issues 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Clay, who wrote and drew Bloody Hell, will be writing Jason Todd 2-issue series, illustrated by Simone DeMeo.
Yeah, Simone's great. And are you cool with saying the description on here of how Johnny's going to be written? Right.
Yeah.
As Jason's being written, writing him like Johnny Lawrence and Cobra Kai, sort of mentoring.
Yeah,
that's
that was
very cool idea.
That was our thing. Was like, what is our spin on Jason? It's different. And then we're like, what if he was kind of a loser but could still kick ass? And he was kind of sad, and he loved the '80s. And we basically thought Jason Todd is Johnny Lawrence, and he meets this kid who really, thinks a lot of him. And there you go. Man, you got all the toys. So once we had the Johnny Lawrence thing, we kind of knew what we wanted to do. And then I basically just gave Clay, we hashed out the idea together, and Clay actually wrote the script. I mean, we're both credited as the writer, but he's really the writer, not me.
I can't wait for that.
Thanks, man. I didn't know the passion for Red Hood when I started. Yeah, the customers have demanded more explanation of why the hell he's the first Robin.
Yeah.
So hopefully this will give some context to all that.
Yeah, well, the first couple of issues of, I guess did we even tell the listeners that's why you're here and what we're talking about?
By the way,
I think I glossed over it.
They're just like, oh, Sean Murphy's here. Okay, that's cool. But yeah, Sean, we are talking about the newest installment of your White Knight universe, which is Batman Beyond White Knight, for those who are wondering what the hell you're doing here.
That is what I'm doing here. Yeah, Batman Beyond the White Knight, 8 issues. First issue comes out at the end of the month. All of these guys have read the first 3 issues, so we're going to do a spoiler-free discussion right now. And then we're going to record another episode that's going to talk all about issue 1, which won't be released till after issue 1 comes out.
Something that I was reading in the first couple of issues, and I shared this with the guys in the chat, it kind of made me a little depressed. Your first couple of 3 issues, because I was reading it and I'm like, oh man, this is cool. And I'm like, Sean has done in 3 issues of this one book that hasn't been allowed to be done in the main title for probably the collection of 10 years. So that's cool that you get your own universe to do whatever you want to.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. I can't imagine. I feel like there's probably a lot of other writers who are trying to do this too, but DC only has the bandwidth to do one, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if someone like Scott came back to DC and said, I want to do the Snyderverse. I want to start Batman off at issue 1 and have his parents get killed, and I'm going to sort of do a White Knight, but I'll do a Scott Snyder with Greg Capullo drawing. I imagine they would probably go for that. Why wouldn't you want to sort of be able to play with the toys without disruption like I'm able to,
Yeah.
It's kind of a happy accident,
Do you think he would have that left in him at this point? Because he sort of had his own universe from the time, if you think about the stuff that he did leading up to the start of New 52, he did his detective stuff and Gates of Gotham, where he planted some seeds for the Court of Owls. Then he did all that stuff, and that continued on right up through Last Night on Earth and the death metal stuff.
Yeah. I don't know, man. We'll see how his comicsology stuff goes. And then the Dark Horse rollout. I know some of that stuff isn't quite what was planned. If I was him and things didn't work out with those companies, I might try to come back in with DC and reclaim the throne. Why not?
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I'm not sure.
I haven't kept track of what the numbers are on the comicsology stuff, but I mean, obviously something has to be said about a title that's yours, that you don't really have to listen to anyone and do whatever you want. But I have greatly enjoyed not just his comicsology stuff, but a couple of the other writers and artists who've been doing stuff on there, you can really tell when like you have the freedom to do what you want, you know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's funny. Some artists do really well in that environment where you can do whatever you want, and some people thrive with restrictions. I'm not sure which Scott is, honestly. Maybe he likes working at a company and playing politics, or having to, sort of deal with politics, I should say. Or maybe he likes being on his own and being, smaller teams. I'm not sure.
You're kind of proven that you can kind of do. You don't need. I mean, with the Indiegogo stuff, you're kind of proven that you don't need like the machine. Like obviously, you went to the machine and you're like, "Hey, dude, let me do it for you," right? With Zorro, like, do you have any interest in doing like a comicsology gig, like a comicsology thing, or anything like that? Or are you thinking you're just going to do like what you're going to do, like you said, like your own publishing company? That's what your goal is. You don't need the other kind of avenues.
Yeah, I mean, I can do my own publishing company, like Zorro, or make up new stuff like plot holes, and make money on the Kickstarter. And I own the IP, so I can then just give it to Comixology and they can publish it, or I can sell it to Image or to whatever. Like, I can still do all of that because the beauty of crowdfunding is you own it, it's done, it's paid for. So Image has to pay me $0 if they want to take plot holes on in the future, and that's very appealing to them because they've got a book that's finished, no delays. It's kind of win-win. But this strategy is really better for people that are do-it-yourselfers, who can sort of deal with the stress and hire someone to manage the project and all that. And I think a lot of artists are sort of afraid to do that.
Yeah, I think part of it is like, you got to be a certain personality type to have the fortitude to be able to manage all that. Like you were able to do it. I think you have that personality where you're good at taking the reins and just kind of like doing that. But like, it's interesting to see the comics. It's interesting to watch comics have to do what like some of the music industry had to do after like Napster came out and everything went digital.
That's a great analogy. You're right.
Yeah. The thing, and what you're doing like with plot holes and also the stuff you're talking about with Zorro is exactly with a lot of like, especially like really niche kind of music. Like I really love death metal, and there's no market to sell death metal to a mass market. There's just no, it's not there. So what these guys are having to do is they're realizing you got to do it yourself. So there's this vocalist named Cam Lee, and he's like he basically invented the death metal growl, like that's he invented it.
Yeah.
And he took the name of his old band back, Massacre, and now he's releasing everything on Bandcamp himself under the name, and he's doing direct to consumer 7-inch vinyl. Like he does all the art himself. He's an artist, and the quality of work that he's giving you is so much better than if it was going through a record label, because he has complete control of everything. And similar to probably you, like he loves to create, and he loves to be able to like have layers of his creation and put it together in one thing for the fans.
Right. What's beautiful about that, and an excellent analogy, by the way, I think about music a lot when it comes to comics, and how comic book shops are becoming kind of like expensive vinyl record shops at this point. But yeah, what he's doing is you're taking your product, you're running it the way you want. If you're willing to do the legwork, you give people a very specialized experience with the product and keep the quality as high as you want. And even though that audience is small, they'll probably pay twice as much for it to be a part of something, as long as they don't feel that you're bullshitting them in any way and they feel that product is real. I think people are really starved for that kind of like genuine, experience or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. You basically take your small customer base and you charge the fuck out of it, but you make sure they get their money's worth. That's the thing. You cannot rip them off.
And like you're right though, like if it's someone that they love and you're giving them content and you're giving them products and like physical media that they're already getting anyway, they're gonna come back to you every single time. You're gonna create a loyal fan base that's gonna follow you to anything that you do, even Zorro.
Even through fucking Zorro.
Zorro and an El Camino. That's where it even gets better.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't wait to be pasted into Zorro.
The sword. I can't decide if I want him shooting guns or not. But yeah, because there are some versions of Zorro that had pistols and 6-shooters because it was a Western or whatever. But yeah, sorry, no one wants to hear about that right now. I can go.
Dude, I don't know, man. You're making most of us salivate with that Zorro talk.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Well, knowing
Yeah.
that you're such a fan of things like Blade Runner, etc., it was I don't think it was a surprise to most people that you wanted to tackle Batman Beyond, get into that futuristic Gotham, the Neo Gotham setting. Was this
Yeah.
always part of the plan for the White Knight stuff? Like, I know there are plans. I don't know if they're still on the burner, but there are a couple things that you had talked about before
Yeah.
for other stories. But was Batman Beyond always part of that plan?
So mostly. For volume 1, I thought it was just going to be 8 issues, and then I'd go back to working whatever DC wanted me to do. But halfway mark through the series, they were like, "This is a big hit. We kind of didn't see this coming. You should probably think about a sequel." So that's when I was like, "I think I should just retire from working with writers and just write my own stuff from now on, and I'll start with volume 2." And when I started thinking of like, what am I going to do volume 2, I started thinking volume 3, and I immediately had a bunch of ideas within the same month. And I thought, yeah, it makes sense for volume 3 to be Batman Beyond. Knowing that I was going to be killing off all these characters in volume 2, I thought, well, we can just skip to the future where there's more villains again or something like that, So, yeah, that was all. It was kind of always part of the plan once I started to expand the plan.
Did you always intend for each volume to have its? I mean, what I like about the 3 different volumes so far is each one is so much different. It feels so much different. It's obviously you. The art is you, obviously, unquestionably, but the feel of the world that you're bringing us into is different every single time, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad. It's funny. I think a lot of customers probably don't like that. I worry that I think like I like volume 2 better than volume 1, but I know a lot of people aren't into historical, betrayal and all and sword fighting and shit like that, right? But the people that are, they're like, Curse is way better than the first one, And then this new one being sci-fi will feel different again. So like I'm not sure. It's an interesting thought experiment. Would it have been better if I maintain the consistency through each volume, or is it better that I just genre hopped each time? And who knows?
Now, obviously, we could go ahead and answer this, having that we've read the first 3 issues, but I think people would rather hear it in your words. So if someone is coming in to read this and they say, well, I've never read a Batman Beyond comic before.
Right.
Do I need to do that before I can get into this, or can I just jump in on this?
You can just jump in. If issue 1, it's just, Bruce is in jail. He's been there for 10 years. Everyone knows he's Batman. He's sort of paying. He's ridden by guilt, and he's sort of paying his time for being Batman because he's so guilty about it. But he also is there to talk to Jason Todd, who is his jailer. Like the prison system hired Jason to keep an eye on Batman because Batman can escape whenever he wants. So if we hire someone that kind of knows his tricks, like Jason, then that shows due diligence. But then Bruce starts realizing that Gotham is severely changed in 10 years. All the police are wearing like RoboCop Batman suits. They're driving tanks around. Gotham is a police state. Crime might be mostly gone, but their freedom is not a thing anymore. And to make it worse, someone stole a prototype Batman suit, the Beyond suit, out of the cave and is flying around in it, and a bunch of people are injured. So Bruce, thinking that he retired Batman, feels really guilty again, and he decides, well, I got to break out and stop all this shit because I started it. And so he breaks out with Jason Todd's help, actually, which was kind of nice. And there's a giant surprise at the end of issue 1 that I won't spoil. But the whole story is basically going to be Bruce going up against Terry and trying to fix his how Batman has been bastardized in this futuristic city. And what I really thought was cool about it was what if Bruce enters this city having no idea what anything is anymore? You've got crazy neon skyscrapers now, and it looks more like Blade Runner now, and he's totally lost. And all these cops, these robot Batman cops, all have tech that's way better than Batman ever had at all. There's cameras everywhere, so it's only a matter of time before he's spotted. So he decides, in order to do this, I'm going to rely on my detective skills. I'm going to go old school, and I'm going to get off the grid. So no metal, nothing electric on me that can be traced. I'm going to wear a hood so no one can see my face. And he basically goes low tech to become a ghost. And yeah, we're gonna have to see if it works because he's got a lot to go up against. And of course, as time goes on, he starts to bump into members of the Bat family, and we see what's happened to them in 10 years, whether or not they're thrilled that he sort of abandoned them, where Harley is. Of course, they all offer to help him, and because he's an asshole, he's always like, "Nah, I got this." And eventually he realizes he needs their help, and hopefully by the end they'll all get back together and kick a bunch of ass.
It's funny the way you described Bruce going ghost. Using that term made it sound so cool. As you were describing it, I was thinking, "Fuck, I got to read this." Wait a minute, I did read it.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a moment where he's, in theory, you think you should put on the bat cowl because it will like protect your face. And he's like, "No, I don't want to be Batman anymore. I don't want to wear a cowl or have a cape." It's like, but I know, can't you break the ears off or something? So I tried to design it where he was wearing the cowl without the ears, but he just looked like Midnighter. I did a sketch where his face was kind of exposed on the front and top. You can see his like gray hair and his spiky beard. And I'm like, man, that looks so cool. So I'm going to go with this look, and I'll give him a hood or something. But hopefully the reader will go along with that. It's like the first Batman suit where his face is, where you can see his face. So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see what the reactions will be.
Well, I know that was one of your concerns early, the first time we were talking about it. But then when you posted the first shot on your Instagram showing Bruce in his new duds, I think the response was overwhelmingly positive.
I hope so. I mean, I think maybe people who don't like it just aren't telling me.
Well, how often is that the case, though? Like, when are the unhappy people ever quiet?
That's true. Everyone's always polite on Twitter. I get her online.
Yeah.
Well, I thought, if I make his trench coat kind of like a cape, and he has kind of some of the mask is on his face, and there's even like slightly pointy ears right up to the top. It's real close. And he has a symbol, even though he painted it black, the symbol still shines a little differently. So it's still kind of Batman, even though he thinks that he's not Batman, he's obviously still fucking Batman. And that's sort of the point that people start to make to him as the series goes on. It's like, who are you kidding, dude? You're obviously Batman. We can see the symbol, Yeah.
It's have you had anybody, well, actually, breaking off that, I know you put that on Instagram, and you had, what'd you put, trench coat Batman, and then I didn't see or hear, I guess you mentioned that there was like people didn't like it, and then there was a new name for him. Gramps, what was that new name for the Batman? Do you remember? For that trench coat look?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Gramps, you fucking dubbed it.
I did?
Yeah, you came up with it, man. It was brilliant.
Oh, that's right.
What was the name?
Obi-Wan Batman, or go ahead.
Obi-Wan.
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 And when you reposted that, I literally almost dropped my phone. I was like, he liked it. He liked it.
That's brilliant, man.
That's
you
funny,
and
man.
3 people the same day landed on the same joke, and I felt like an idiot for not seeing it myself. So I think you were the first, and I'm like, I gotta post this. Yeah, so thank you for that.
Amazing.
I'll send.
So, but Sean,
check in the mail.
Yeah.
Has anyone like sent you like a DM, or has anyone ever like said, "You fucking ruined this character or that character"? Have you heard anything like that?
No.
You're good about filtering that out, though. That's why you're that's why you're so happy. That's why you're such a happy guy and like content with your life, is you don't listen to the bullshit.
So I will admit that I do I do stupid things, and I will go on Twitter just to search my name and be like, all right, what are these idiots saying about me? Because I am curious, and it's like scanning 4chan or something at this point.
Oh my god!
But even though I'm lurking, it's mostly like 95% positive, and the people that don't like it, they just don't like the idea that Bruce went to jail. They don't like the idea that Joker is cured. It's not like they thought the book was a bad read or the dialogue was bad. They just disagreed with the decisions I made, which is fine. It's like, all right, it's not your Batman, They didn't say that the book was made no sense. They didn't say the dialogue was shit. They didn't say it was inconsistent. They just said, I disagree with the premise, And I'm like, well, then don't read it because you're not going to like the rest of this,
I disagree with your hypothesis.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you don't like a Batman that's sort of villainized and Joker's beating him with the legal system, then this is not the book for you. It's okay.
What's
it's
with the
not like it's
damage
the main
shipping?
title, so.
Yeah, that they're grasping for straws. They're complaining about the damage shipping.
Yeah. Well, what about this book, this little dog ear thing on page 3?
Hey man, think about that. If like the worst thing that's being said about your work online are people complaining about the physical copy of the books. That's the worst they're saying. That means the actual work itself is good. They just have to find something else, right?
That's a good point, man. Maybe I should look at it that way, because they're gonna, if they don't come after you at all, then that's weird. If you get successful, you should be prepared for this shit to happen. If all they have on you is a dinged up copy, like 1% of the books or whatever, and you quickly reimburse them, by the way, and then they're happy, but they don't remove their video. You're right. I guess it's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, they say if you're not having problems, you're not doing business.
That's fair. That's good. Yeah. I mean, I don't go to shows a lot. There isn't enough time for me to like grope women and act like an asshole or groom people.
Oh, there's always time, Sean. There's
okay, good.
Time.
That's a good point. I should really work on that. You're right, everybody.
I just got the issues today and was able to take a look at it. And Legend said something the other day that kind of intrigued me. I was like, okay, now I'm really salivating to read this. And Legend said, how is it possible that his art just keeps getting better with each volume? And
thank you.
You know, I have to agree with that. I mean, especially, you know, with this story, you know, because like you said, it's sci-fi. It's a futuristic look. Yeah. It's a futuristic Gotham, but with older characters that you add more character to each personality. And, you know, it is truly, I think readers are really going to love this.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm actually working like 10% slower just so I can put more into the page. So if the art looks 10% better, then I'm happy. Like every now and then there's a panel where I'm like, I'm exhausted. I can't redraw that face again. I'm just going to let it go. I thought that way on the first 2 books, but on this volume, I really don't want to do that. I'd like every panel to be bulletproof forever, you know? And even though there's still a few that slip by, like I'm really trying to make every page a page that someone would want to hang up on a wall, you know? Like I never understood artists who think like, oh God, I'm tired. Thank God, a Talking Heads page. I'll just do a bunch of blank backgrounds and just blah, 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 blah. I think there's still a way to draw that's interesting and do a cool background, draw a tree, draw a bird, draw a nice building. That page is still sellable. And I'm not saying that all of your readers want to buy a page of art, but if their brain goes, ooh, I want to own that, that means they're obviously enjoying your art, you know? There's so much art that talented artists release that you'd never want to hang on your wall. And I try to make every page, even if it's like an inherently boring page, something that someone would want to hang on a wall. It's kind of the goal. And, you know, I can't always hit it. Like I can show you a few stinkers right now, but you'll see them in issue 4.
That first page where we see Bruce's new look, I think the day you sent that issue, that page became the background on my phone.
Oh, awesome.
It's a good place to go. Without spoilers, because we are doing a little spoiler free right now. Let's go around and love bomb real quick. Teases. What would you say? Flipping through the first couple of issues. What is the thing that strikes you? An image that you remember from it?
I wanted to add before, like, I feel like Sean's progression is really just. I don't know if it's me, but I feel like the inks are so much deeper. And it casts more of a shadow, and there's more about composition. So I think with that coloration, it's really making every page deep and dramatic to me.
Thank you.
But I really like that first page where. Hold on, I'm just scrolling up where Terry's in the suit and he's kind of like, what does he say now? Oh no, it's the splash page.
No spoilers.
That's my favorite.
Spoiler free.
Spoiler free. All right. Well, you asked me what page I like, so
I'm just saying an image.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Image. Yeah, it's all right. So he's it is a from left to right. He's just in fully in the suit for the first time. So I think that kind of sets the tone for it. Yeah.
Gorgeous. I'm using a lot of calligraphy nib when I ink. It's kind of doing what Ashley Wood does. Is I'll use like
calligraphy nips. Yeah.
Yeah. Where's my camera? There it is.
There it is.
Just using this and getting really messy. And I found that I tried to redesign the Beyond suit, but it looks so perfect the way it was originally designed. So I added like some vents on it, like some red lines on the chest. It's but basically the cartoon. But I thought, well, if I render it in scratchy ways, that's something that animation can't do. That's something a movie really can't do. That's something specific to art. So rather than mess with the costume, I just sort of messed with how I rendered it. So a lot of that, someone said deeper inks. Maybe that's what you're responding to. Is I've actually pulled out the nib a lot. If I have like a close up of Bruce's jacket, I'll scratch it in and just see what happens, And sometimes there's happy accidents. Sometimes it just looks terrible. But I'm kind of using this more on this volume than I have on the other two.
Something I noticed. Go ahead.
Just
Jesus,
from
sorry
about that.
No.
Just like from a view, I feel like the deep shadows are really. He's blending in with the background, and it's kind of creating this really dark cinematic mood that I didn't really see in the other issues. It seems a lot more experimental to me.
Yeah, thanks. I think I'm also working on.
I love it. It's like really. It's all about every page has this like vibrant mood that you just want to stop and look at every detail, and it's more of a collage too at sometimes. So it's like. It makes you slow down visually.
Thanks. Yeah, one thing I've tried to work on this one too is blocking better with blacks. So I have a page of Terry in the rain, in a cemetery, and it's basically a Talking Heads page. But you can kind of see. Where's my finger? All right, it's over here. Fuck, sorry, it's not going well. All right. So Terry's there, his mom's there. You get the staircase up. Thank you. And I just blacked out, but I wanted to like focus the detail right here. And I'm trying to think of using blocking blacks to really highlight the focus of the panel. So you have the steps, you got a tree, you got the tombstones here, the city, and you got dead branches. And I'm like, well, I want to focus here, so I'm just gonna black this out. Which some would say it's lazy. I say it's helping the frame. But I did pop Terry's head out of the next panel as his mom shows up and they're talking and it's raining, and I'm just trying to think about blocking with blacks, not only because it saves time rendering, but it just makes for a stronger imagery, and it's sort of something that Toth did really well. So I'm trying to be more Toth-like, which is hard because I'm really scratchy and I had a ton of detail. That if Toth saw my stuff, he would be like, "Kid, you're overdoing it. What the hell's the matter with you? Like less is more, less is more." And I try to do that in my head, but when I end up rendering, it just feels like I overdo it. But by blocking and having those frames around it, it doesn't feel overdone, if that makes sense.
And also you're having these, like you said, you're having these characters gently pop out of the panel, which is kind of creating this collage, this very like orderly collage effect with the dark ink. So it's to me, this looks fresh to me. Like it's a brand new spin. And then also with your colorist, he's just really complimenting those dark inks, and every page is a color mood to me.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I switched colorists from Matt Hollingsworth to Dave Stewart this time. Dave and I go back to Hellblazer and Joe the Barbarian and American Vampire. So it's good to have Dave back again. I really like both of their stuff, honestly, and I felt bad for asking Dave to color like Matt just to match the textures and stuff, but he's got his own feel. He's really good with city lights, like really good with like an orange, yellow, and purple palette is kind of his thing. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the changes here, but I appreciate the compliment, and that's something that I can like. Hearing that makes me want to focus on it more. So I do hope that I can do more of that in the future.
Yeah, Tease I was gonna say Tease is a design guy. He does this for a living as far as like taking artwork, designing, looking at compositions and stuff. So he has a little bit more of an eye than the rest of us do.
Cool.
So he picks up on.
Next time we're at a bar, you have to tell me what I can work on to get better then too, because
we spoke about apparel before, like in cons and stuff. But to me, it's just very, like you said, you want every page to look so special, and every page looks like a print. So it's
thanks, man.
Yeah. It's really guiding your eye. Without the words, I feel like you almost don't need the words in some pages.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the visual it is. So
Oh, cool. Thank you.
You got to link up and get Sean over at NECA to do some merch with Loot Crate or something like that, man, for some White Knight stuff.
Ooh.
Some
Oh,
White
that would
Knight
be
gear. Much needed White
Yeah.
Knight
Or
gear.
some pothole stuff.
That is true.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Sidebar.
Let's see here. There's something that Sean, something that stood out to me, and then we'll go around to see what else stood out for some of the guys. I feel like the last edition with Curse, because it felt like swashbuckly with the history. It felt very like old, and it almost felt like the story, like the flashbacks were rounded. The blades even, and the style that you had for some of the looks of the characters, and some of the history of the character. And then this one, it's like Neo Gotham, so it's like fucking edges and corners, and it's completely like it's like high rises and futuristic. So it's like, God, this is a beautiful change.
Yeah.
So that's something that struck out to me big time. And that's what I love is you're giving us something new and fresh. You're not giving us the same thing. You mentioned genre, like kind of skipping genres. That's awesome to think about.
Yeah.
Because that's what keeps readers coming back, is like it's something new. We don't get this,
Yeah.
So
I hope even though they skip genres, I think the consistency is it's a world that it talks about politics. It talks about how a city would actually react to Batman. It brings in some real world shit that would actually go down if Batman was a real thing. But it also is still a fun comic. Like, it's not trying to break him apart where he's not entertaining anymore. I think the realism is probably the consistent through line, even though the genre changes from like political to swashbuckling to Blade Runner. Hopefully people still know, like, oh, I can still see Sean in here, But yeah, it's a good point about the pointy buildings and jagged shadows and stuff. You really don't get a lot of that when you're doing like Victorian, swashbuckle or whatever,
It's cool though. It's nice. And then we'll talk about more in the spoiler episode, but
Sure.
You punctuate your art with some of the things that the characters say. Specifically, a panel where I'm reading it, looking at it, I'm like, God, that was fucking epic. And then literally, like, the next panel is a character pointing out how fucking epic that was. I'm like, God damn, that's awesome. So that's fucking great.
That character you're talking about is kind of a stand-in for the reader, because this character is along for the ride, and I feel like the reader will be liking this character a lot because he is doing it's almost like he's looking at the camera,
Beautiful.
Like he literally one point goes, "Please tell us there's another Bat costume we've never seen before." When he says "we," he's talking about Gotham, but he sort of means the reader too.
Right. Gramps, what is an image or something that you saw flipping through the first couple of issues that smacked you in the face that is still something you're thinking about right now?
Well, obviously my eye goes towards
The penis.
Well, no, I mean,
that's why I keep my camera turned off.
Obviously, the Obi-Wan image when he's
hell yeah.
I don't. We'll go into the spoilers, but people are gonna like Obi-Wan, and
I like that you're embracing that now. The guy who invented it and then forgot.
Man,
why we call him Gramps.
That's
his name.
Dude, I fucking forget everything. So
took a nap and it was gone.
We need to make him an Obi-Wan Bat Force T-shirt that he can wear.
Oh shit!
No, people are gonna love Obi-Wan, and I mean, here's the thing, Sean. Maybe it's because I'm a Gemini. Maybe it's because I'm just a natural pessimist. But I love a tragic hero, and that's what I'm getting here. And you see the age, you see the weight of the guilt, you see everything that's on Bruce's shoulders, and he sometimes feels like he has to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders, but then he also feels like he has to make things right. And like you said, you've made every page a seller, but there's this one page in Image issue 3, I think it's page 14, where we get the motion of Obi-Wan coming down, and then he's like
Oh yeah,
back as he's back in
Yeah.
it. I was like, oh my god.
like the multiple image
Yes.
page where he's swinging. Yeah, that's not a really spoiler. There's one where he's swinging over the city, and you can see like the ghost image of him. And
Yeah.
I don't usually do a whole lot of those because I don't know if I'm good at it. Because I remember Spider-Man. I used to do a lot in Spider-Man, and as a kid, I thought that was cool. So I tried to do it with mixed results, but I'm glad that Gramps likes it. But thank you. I do. I like that page
Well,
too.
he's here to tell you, please do some more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and also there's a couple of pages for it, just for the people that, Sean is a car fanatic. And when you get Sean going on Batman, he's going to include everything. And there's a page here that people are really going to like.
Trying to think with the Pattinson Batmobile.
Well, that's okay to say because he's posted that.
okay.
Online. So
He spoiled him. He snitched on himself.
I did, yeah. Because I don't have. It's weird because usually editorial is really harsh on what you can and can't say, but I guess they only do that if your book is connected to other books because they kind of leave me alone, and I like it, but I still try to be careful.
See, I love that. You flipped the script. You were so worried about them using your stuff, and you just said, "Fuck you, I'm using your stuff."
Yeah. I might have drawn the first Pattinson Batmobile in an interior. I know that they've hired a bunch of artists to do covers and stuff, and I don't know. I might not be, but I think I might be. I'm not sure.
I don't think there's any paddy wagons out there yet.
Yeah.
There's no paddy wagons in print yet, so you might be. Okay. When does it come out again?
March 29th. This is out.
Yeah, but that's issue 3, so that'll be April, May. But yeah, I mean, if I've done it faster than anybody, that's I think that's still a win.
I doubt that. Yeah, I doubt that anyone's gotten it out faster.
Well played, Murph Dog. Can we call you Murph Dog?
Sure.
You just did. You just did.
Dog. All right, bro.
Robin, what is? I think you mentioned it a little bit, but what's an image burned in your brain from the first couple of issues so far?
Well, aside from the image I talked about, without spoiling anything.
No spoilers.
What I will say, one of my favorite aspects of the story so far is the world building that is happening because right from the first issue we get thrown in real deep into the new story. All the new information comes hard and fast, but we're also getting a great balance of
That's what she
payoff.
said.
Yes. So we're also getting a great balance of payoff of things from the other stories, from White Knight and Curse, and then Colleen's Harley story. We're seeing a lot of things that are continuing from there. So it's a nice balance of getting, here's the new stuff, and if you've been reading all along, then you also know what all this is about.
Thanks. Yeah, man. I didn't come here for you guys to kiss my ass, but I appreciate it.
You specifically did say that was why you were coming.
Did I? Hey, I think we should, instead of calling him Gramps, we should call him Obi Wayne.
Oh shit!
Because it's Obi Wayne is aged. He did create it. I mean, I know it's too cool, and you want to make fun on him and dunk on him, but maybe he should be Obi Wayne from now on.
Damn, dude, you're stroking Gramps' ego hard right now.
So I gotta pay him back.
Sean Murphy has just redubbed Gramps. That's crazy. I don't think anyone else in the Bat Force has had that honor yet.
One good hand job deserves another. No problem, Gramps. Hey, there you go.
And it's done.
Man,
this is the way.
This is the way.
Dunk.
I'm feeling the love. You're feeling the love, man. It's a good night.
What you drinking over there, Obi?
Someone asked me what I was drinking, and I said Scotch. And now that you can see, I'm drinking a wimpy White Claw, like a Karen. What the hell?
Yeah, I know. Make sure the sorority knows you need a refill. Jesus.
I'm glad I hid my Mardi Gras beads.
There you go. Dunk. What is an image from the first couple issues that just really got you going?
I'm staring at it now. I think it's page 9 of issue 1. It's like a recap of like Jason Todd's like history. And, like, since we're getting into that in the book, as you mentioned, it's like you see little, when they first meet, him as Robin. It's just
spoilers.
It's page 9.
It's a splashy page.
It's not a spoiler. It's a splash page.
We're an hour into the episode.
And I guess the other thing that you see a lot is it's kind of like you know who everyone is by looking at their shadows.
Yeah, oh yeah,
that's
dope. I lean into that hard. Like every time you see Batman, he's got a shadow. Sorry, anytime you see Bruce, you see a Batman shadow, and I know that other artists have done that just as a wink, wink. But in this book, it's a storytelling device because you see other characters' shadows, and when Terry inherits the bat suit, I don't think I give him bat shadow, but I think at the end I might, to show that he's inherited the shadow, and now Bruce's shadow looks normal. Like that's something I'm kind of toying with.
Ooh, interesting.
Sorry,
what I
didn't mean to
love.
interrupt you.
Go ahead, Dunk.
Oh no, I was like at that. You kind of see the story,
Yes.
especially with different characters. You see like the past by looking at the shadows and what they're currently going through now.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, good pick.
Love the use of you threw a little psychology in there as well. With this isn't a spoiler, but Harley has children in this universe, and the shadows that you used speak to the relationships that Harley is seeing play out in her own children. Thought that was beautifully done.
Oh yeah, I was proud of that one. It's a small panel too. I think some people might miss it. I can spoil this one, and they can blame me for this.
God damn it, Sean!
Go nuts.
Harley's pissed at her daughter. I already tweeted a picture of Harley's daughter, and she's very Joker obsessed.
She looks fucking awesome when she appears.
She's like a punk Joker, but she's 12, and she's mad because she has a lot of questions, and everyone in Gotham knows who she is, and she feels like she's a fuck up, and her brother is good, and all that. So Harley gets freaked out, and she says something that pisses Harley off, and Harley slaps her. And in that panel, Harley's shadow looks like old Harley Quinn with the jester hat, and her daughter's shadow looks like Joker. And the implication is obviously she's seeing Joker in her, and she's worried, and blah blah blah. I don't love that Harley would break and slap her own daughter, but Harley is a villain in the past. She's not a perfect mom, so yeah. I'm curious to see what people think of that panel.
Yeah, as a mandated reporter myself, I have to say, Sean, I did have to call CPS and report that. I know it was a moment of weakness for Harley. We're gonna get her some therapy, and we're gonna get that taken care of. It's gonna, it's an isolated incident, but we'll move on.
But she really needs to get to take care of any issues with her kids, because Gotham has a long history that if kids end up as orphans, Bruce Wayne is gonna snap them up, and they will both be Robins by the end of issue 4.
Yeah, Batman fucking up orphans since 1943 or whatever.
Sean, you saw the Batman, and there's a meme going around, and it's the funeral scene from the movie, and you see that the mayor's kid is like looking over his shoulder and at the people in the audience, and you see Bruce Wayne, and he's holding up a Robin outfit, and he's like smiling at it and pointing at it, or he's pointing at the kid like, you're Robin. Beautiful meme going around. But
I haven't seen that one. That's great.
Legends, moment in the first couple of issues that smacked you right in the noggin, and you're still thinking about.
The first thing I thought, I wrote down a couple of things here.
Listen to this.
First thing that I was reading, and I thought, wow, that's pretty badass, was these lightsaber-looking batons that were pretty fucking badass.
Obi-Wan.
I was like, what? Yeah, I was like, what is this? A lightsaber baton? Those are pretty cool.
And the second thing is his head being pasted onto that page.
Oh my god, I still feel bad about that. I can't shake that thought when I look at his dumb face.
At least I have a story for it now.
His stupid goddamn face.
And
I made you a gangster. I get nothing for that. All right.
Yeah, but you know what else kind
He's still singing your praises. Listen to him.
busted my balls about that is I was on the inside corner of the page. So when
Oh
you
my
open
god,
up the
here we
book, read
fucking
it,
go.
you can't even
Jesus
see it.
Christ.
Oh, man. All right. I can take it. 1 out of 9 is
It's gonna go up on YouTube.
There you go, right? Yeah, Sean. He's the one out of the rest of us. So
yeah,
he's complaining about the damaged books. So
it's all right.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I'll be on the Kickstarter for Zorro day 1.
Yeah,
I will put
exactly.
you in the center of the page with your big dick swinging back and forth. Yeah, I'm gonna make up for it. Don't worry about it.
That's not a sword.
He's just mad. Look, hang on.
You should see some of my commissions.
Look at this guy real quick. Hang on 1 second. I just got to show. Look at who's sitting here proud and happy and just fucking beaming. Look at his name. Look at his name.
It's funny.
Love
because, the first book has Obi-Wan in it and lightsabers. I think it's all coming together.
There you go.
Love
Bat
it.
Force.
Yeah.
Bat Force.
Dude,
That
if
Bat
you did a
Force.
Star Wars book, oh my god.
Use the Bat Force.
All right, gentlemen, we are an hour in for technically that was like 60 minutes of a 60 minutes of a 65-minute spoiler-free review. Should we start getting into spoilers now, you think?
Yeah, let's wrap this episode here, and then we can just get free to
Cool.
talk spoilers. So yeah, that was this episode. We're going to be putting this out. This will be out a couple weeks before issue 1, and come back on March 29th after you read the first issue of Batman Beyond the White Knight and listen to the next episode where we're going to go balls deep spoilers.